Now you're not on tape, man. You good?
All right, just for that group of people who are putting you into that demographic, guys like you, Kanye West, Jay-Z, Russell Simmons, Lupe Fiasco, Roseanne Barr, for all the Hollywood people, I guess, who are coming down to Occupy Wall Street, they think that you guys are just doing it for the attention, to get more publicity for yourselves. I mean, do you have anything to say about that? Like, what can you say to that group of people who are judging you, thinking that you're just doing it for more fame, more attention? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I would understand anger towards the mainstream media and Hollywood culture in general. I mean, I would completely agree that if you were to lump all of Hollywood into one thing, that has a lot of negative impact on the world. I would totally agree with that. But I also think that, you know, it's not that simple, and there are elements within Hollywood and mainstream media that have really positive impact on the world. I mean, for me, the movies that I watch, the books that I read, the music that I listen to, these are important things to me, and they help me make sense of the world, and I think that's the case for lots of people. And so I think there are examples of great artists, you know, who do cool shit, and I strive to do stuff that I do think is cool, you know, and you know, like I just got done working on a movie with Christopher Nolan, and
what's it called?
It's called The Dark Knight Rises, and I think the movie's fucking badass, and I think it's a really positive movie, and I think it's awesome that it's going to be seen by so many fucking people, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. And you know, I think movies and media can be and need to be a really important part of any sort of progress. And I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to sort of be entrenched in the currently established dominant media and entertainment industry, and I try to do my best to make stuff within that system that I feel is positive and will connect with people in a positive way.
Do you think is there a sickness in our country, maybe not just our country, in the world, about you know, Hollywood? You know, is there an attraction to Hollywood, to actors, especially the reality shows nowadays? We got Jersey Shore, we got The Real Housewives. I mean,
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I mean, and we just have. I mean, how do you feel as an actor, a famous actor at that? I mean, every time you guys have your Hollywood premieres for movies and stuff, and you know, signing autographs, you know, there's crowds screaming Joseph Gordon-Levitt probably, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and you know, all those guys. Is that, to a degree, I guess, do you think it's a sickness? Does it creep you out a little bit? How do you think it's too much nowadays? Personally, I'm a 90s baby, and it was something in the 90s, but now I've seen it grow enormously, and it seems like it's crazy. Like on Facebook, for instance, and even on Twitter, none of my Facebook friends are talking about Occupy Wall Street. We're talking about the last episode of Jersey Shore. We're talking about
what they ate for lunch.
What they ate for lunch. We're talking about, you know, a lot of stuff about Hollywood, a lot about the music industry. There's nothing really about Occupy Wall Street. There's nothing being really said about you know, anything about government and politics, which I guess, I mean, you don't want to stay on that kind of stuff too much because it can be really depressing at times, but I mean, do you just think it's gotten to be a little too much? How do you feel about, I mean, going back to what I said earlier about, you know, the whole autographs, the whole people screaming out your name? I mean, does it creep you out a little bit?
Yeah, man, no, it creeps me out a lot.
It does?
Yeah, and I've been doing this since I was a little kid. Yeah. And when I was younger, it used to, like, I was phobic about it. But to me, I make an important distinction. Yeah. There's the fame, celebrity thing that you're talking about.
The leader, right there.
There's a dog taking a shit in the sidewalk.
You're gonna pick that up, right?
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, it's not a rhetorical question. You're gonna pick up the dog poop, right?
Are you offering to pick it up?
No, I don't have a bag. You're walking the dog. You pick up your stuff. You're breaking the law.
You don't say. Thank you. God bless you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. See, you got to pick up after your dog, and he's doing a good job. Good for you, man. You got to pick up after your dog.
Yeah.
Consider a thing to do.
Stay back.
You too.
He wasn't gonna leave that shit.
I know.
Right here, dude. Come on. I'd do it on someone's lawn, maybe, but you know, this is Wall Street. Fuck it, I guess, right? It's kind of
I didn't want to
symbolic.
say anything. I thought he was going to throw it at us, so I was kind of trying to back off from that. But yeah, I mean, back to the
what you're asking is a really good question, man. It's something I think about.
Are you going to get in trouble for any of this? No, right?
I think about exactly what you're saying all the time, man. And because it does creep me out, the sort of. And by the way, what you're talking about is not new. It's called idol worship.
Look, I'm only.
Idol worship.
I'm only.
Hold on.
Okay.
It's called idol worship, and it's not new, and it goes back to like kings and queens.
Yeah.
And there is a tendency for powerful people to for there to be this distinction made and like have an upper class and all that. And yeah, I think it's gross. And I don't like to be considered a part of it. And look, the truth is, if you look at the tradition of actors, yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. The tradition of being an actor and being a storyteller, that's different than the tradition of a king or a queen or a duke or a duchess. And it's only recently, in the last 100 years or so, that Hollywood has sort of created the star system in order to sell movies.
I mean, weren't actors and all these artists, they were the poorest of the poor years ago, and now they're the richest of the rich. I mean, I don't think there's any problem with that. I just think that, I mean, as you said, I think it is a sickness. And
by the way, they're not the richest of the rich.
They're not, okay.
Who, actors?
Yeah, the people who own the show.
The people who own, right. He's right.
Yeah, why is it that people think actors make so? I mean, they make you guys. I mean, I'm sure you guys make good money, but you ain't making $20 million a movie, right? I mean.
Well, I'm not.
I mean, who is?
There are a few actors who do. I mean, not very many, but there are one.
I only asked because I was actually at the premiere in LA for Sauce, and Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt came out, and it was my last day in LA, so I was like, yeah, why not? My hotel was a block away, so I went. And it was just insane. It was just, I thought it was cool. It was a cool experience. Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, but there was just people just screaming.
Yeah, that's weird.
Mr. Brad Pitt, please. And I was like, this is. I mean, I felt weird and awkward for them.
Now, I don't know why people aren't sometimes like embarrassed about behaving that way. I think it's sort of embarrassing. Or when they like read the gossip magazine stuff. That's just like, it's unhealthy and it's embarrassing. And I don't like to consider myself a part of that. I know that to a degree I am, and it's not something I appreciate.
Have you never not given autographs at like movie premieres, or just like say, no, not today? Like,
I don't know, I'm not a big fan of autographs, but the thing is, I do love movies.
Right.
Love movies.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really important distinction between movies, or you could call it art, even, as opposed to the whole like celebrity fanfare shit that you're talking about.
That comes along with it.
Yeah. So I love being an actor. I love telling stories. That's a really, really important part of what makes human beings human. And all the celebrity nonsense is one of the unfortunate things that also recurs throughout human history. It's like idol worship. And it's weird. It's totally fucking weird. It creeps me out.
I can imagine.
I don't like it.
I felt awkward for them. I can't even imagine how they would feel.
I think they like it though. Like,
you think so?
I think he's kind of different from the rest of them to a degree.
There are people who do. Yeah, there are.
Feet off.
Is that, you really believe that, or?
Sure. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's.
You think there's actors and actresses out there that do they fiend for it? Do they
Yeah.
Really?
I think don't we all fiend for it to a degree? I mean, ego validation is
maybe he doesn't.
I think it's a human thing, dude. I think everybody wants to be recognized for whatever it is that they're good at. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. Like, you know, I'm a comedian, you know, up and coming, and when people recognize me on the street, like, it feels good, you know, when they say good things to me. You know, I mean, I don't want people asking me for an autograph or anything. I wouldn't want that in the future, but it definitely feels good to, like, be recognized for what you're doing.
Is this always how you felt? Because you said you've been in the business for a long time.
Yeah, always, man.
It's always how you felt. So
younger,
this isn't a new thing.
It always creeped me out. Ever since I was a little kid, when people would, like, ask me for an autograph or whatever, it always creeped me out. I always found it really strange. But I always really loved acting. And, you know, so some people ask me, like, well, why do you do that? It's part of your job to be famous. But I don't really agree with that. I think it's become that way in our culture, but it doesn't have to be that way. And, you know, telling stories, making art, whatever you want to call it, movies or whatever, that's something quite separate from like being rich and famous.
Let me segue on that though. Sorry, dude. Don't you think that it's? I mean, you don't think it's somewhat natural though to want to be admired to it? Not, I mean, not like gawked at, but I mean, everyone likes when their work is appreciated, right?
Well, there's a difference between having your work appreciated and having a community or an audience connect with something that you're saying and doing, as opposed to being like I idolize.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
There's occurrences of both throughout human history. And but I think the more natural way that stories get told is people gather around at the tavern, or people gather around the fire, and you know, they tell stories, and someone tells a version, and next week someone else tells another version, and it's a more communal thing. I think that's the natural way of things, and I think that's what we're getting back to now that we have the internet. And you know, the more kind of super concentrated and stratified attention is sort of unnatural, and luckily kind of in a certain way I think it's fading away.
So I mean, I don't even know if I should bother with this last question because you kind of answered it. Are you into the party scene in Hollywood, or it sounds like you stay far away from the party scene in Hollywood, as far away as possible? But
I mean, I'll go to some parties sometimes, friends or whatever, out having a good time. But no, I don't like you know, I don't like incorporating my social life into publicity. Yeah. I don't like that.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe.
We're going to put you on TMZ. We're going to put this on TMZ.
Yeah, I know
I'm going to go down there and check out.
Yeah, I'm going to go there too.